Hello, my name is Reverend Bonnie Rose, and I'm here for Our Ventura TV. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Janessa Wilder, who is a former CIA officer. She also founded an organization, a peacemaking organization called Euphrates Institute, and she's going to speak with us today about peacemaking. So it's my pleasure to welcome you, Janessa. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Bonnie. It's great to be here.
Great. So, how did you move from being a CIA officer to a peacemaker?
Yes, that is not your typical journey. And I actually learned about peace through war. So I served in the Iraq War for 2 years, from 2003 to 2005. And I saw firsthand the devastation and destruction that war brought. And it was after a particularly tough battle. I was the only civilian woman on a base with thousands of Marines. And just seeing, the men coming back wounded from the front lines and feeling this sense of hopelessness and helplessness. And that, was it worth it? What were we doing? All of this fighting, thinking of the Iraqis on the other side of those cannons. And a short few weeks after that, I was along the Euphrates River, which was the major kind of landscape feature in Western Iraq. And I was sitting by that river and taking in this scene of calm flow of the water and the peace and the birds going around. It was sunset. It was the most beautiful scene. And I realized that that river, just a few miles downstream, had been flowing in the midst of that huge battle and all of that death and devastation. Here was this river of life. And this thought came to me, which will you choose? And until that point, Bonnie, I'd never even thought that I had a choice between, I was a counterinsurgency analyst. I was a CIA officer. We were fighting the war. We were trying to win the war. I'd never thought that there was a choice between war and peace. And in that moment, I was standing there along the river saying, I choose the river. And I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea what that journey would entail for me, and that it would mean leaving the CIA and starting my own peace building organization.
Wow, it's beautiful. I got chills. Oh, thank you. So then you started the Euphrates Institute shortly after that, and can you tell us a little what that is?
Sure. Yeah. When I came back from 2005, I realized I didn't want to be part of the government anymore, work for the CIA. And so I started the Euphrates Institute with this idea of building bridges between peoples and cultures and nations. So it was really amorphous at the time. I just thought there had to be a better path. I wanted to connect more to what does peace mean? How can we prevent future wars from happening? I had seen it and witnessed firsthand, all of that death and devastation. So it was just an idea to choose peace. That was very simple, choose peace over war. And it's now turned into a global peace building organization with ambassadors in more than 40 countries. So what started as a little germ of an idea that the river whispered to me truly has connected us through, as the folks in Euphrates say, through the rivers of the world.
Oh, wow. So what's an example of something that Euphrates does? Like I know you're in how many 40 something countries you said. Can you give us just one example of one of your peace building opportunities that you offer in the world?
Sure. Well, the team holds the flagship program is a 6-month peace building training course. It's an online workshop. And so they take a cohort from, anywhere around the world. So the past one had like 23 people from 23 different countries. So it really is these global representatives coming back. And a lot of it is pure learning. Okay, what is taking place in Ukraine and what's working, what's not working. And let's help someone in Cote d'Ivoire that's working with tribal conflicts, or in India with interfaith issues. So they're really learning and building from each other. And the whole methodology of the program is that peace is not something that you can just impose from outside. It starts within each one of us. And that was something that was my greatest, battle in learning in the Iraq war zone. That was how did I find the inner peace that I could bring to my outside environment? So it starts with the personal peace, we call it, and then it becomes community personal peace, and then relational peace. So then we bring that into our relationships, into our families, into our friendships. We're bringing that sense of conscious peace choosing. And then as that expands, it filters into our communities, and we create communities of peace. And then finally into nations and into global peace. So it's really this trajectory. Each module is like a month-long personal, interpersonal, community, and global.
Wow. Wow. That's very amazing and very relatable, because my next question for you is, in terms of those of us living here in Ventura County, how can we start serving as peacemakers? What do you recommend for us?
Oh my goodness. In our it's funny, I led a group, I guess it was 2 years ago, to Israel and Palestine. And we were there to learn about how they were dealing with this conflict, that's been going on. And oh, isn't it terrible on both sides? And they were worried about us.
Hmm.
I can't believe what's going on in America. And, do you need our support? And we feel so bad it was about the political divide, Republicans and Democrats. And boy, you all have your hands full. And it was so interesting to have, the tables turned and realizing that what we have at home is really, it is conflict on the full scale. It's getting more and more out in the open, but those seeds of conflict are in each of our communities, and not just political. It's, racial divides and gender divides and all these issues that are really, right swirling around us. So we don't have to go around the world to a conflict-ridden zone or a war zone to make a difference as a peace builder. Each of us, I believe, are being called to be peace ambassadors and peace builders in our own communities. And so, these tools, of course, you can take the full 6-month program that's so in depth about how to claim our personal peace, how we become better listeners in our relationships, how we step up in our community and become voices of reason and voices of peace. Then how do we mobilize those communities of peace to learn from each other and then bring that to more of a global scale. So there's that whole, there's the whole spectrum. But I believe just becoming better listeners, asking questions rather than voicing opinions, seeking out the opinions of others that we may disagree with as almost practice, that, okay, rather than exploding, with like bombs on the other side, can I, practice conscious listening and actually be curious about this person's perspective and the why and how they came about. We know nothing about people's histories and background, the trauma that they may have endured, or just, maybe the kind of news they're listening to, and they're just, wrapped up into one viewpoint. So that curiosity and genuine openness can be cultivated right here at home. Yeah, it's just we're rife with opportunities right in our own communities.
Absolutely. You are a wealth of knowledge, and we're almost out of time. So, how about you give us a website where people can go to learn more about Euphrates and the work that you do?
Oh, absolutely. The website is euphrates.org, like the river, EUP, although it is a spelling conundrum,
Yeah.
EUPHRATES.org. And you can go there to participate in our monthly community calls or do a longer program. There are so many entry points into starting to become a better peace builder in your own communities.
Thank you so much, Janessa. And for our
Bonnie.
viewers, I just wanted, again, all of us thank Janessa for speaking with us today. My name is Reverend Bonnie Rose, and I'm here again on behalf of Our Ventura TV. Until we meet again, have a beautiful, blessed, and peaceful day. Thank you very much.